Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we look into corporate reports so you don't have to. Today we're cracking open Tidal Commodities Trust I's latest filing. I know, sounds thrilling as a tax audit, but stick with me, we're talking about Bitcoin ETFs and where that sweet digital money is going. This report covers the first 3 months of this year and it's basically a financial health checkup for this Bitcoin investment vehicle. It shows how much money they're managing, where it's invested and how it's performing. If you're curious about the real money behind Bitcoin ETFs, this is the video for you. Before we dive in, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below if you would like to join. Let's dive right into the good stuff, the numbers. As of March 31, Tidal Commodities Trust, I had total assets of about $13.1 million. That sounds like a lot, but it actually dropped from about $49 million at the end of last year. So they're starting the year with less in the bank. Most of that money is tied up in Bitcoin. About $13 million is in cryptocurrency investments. This is what you would expect from a Bitcoin ETF. But it's worth noting that this value also dropped from the almost $14 $48 million at the end of last year. So that Bitcoin investment has decreased. This could be due to a drop in the price of Bitcoin itself or simply selling off some of their holdings, which we will see later. They have 140,000 shares available and a net asset value per share of about 93.62 cents. In accounting terms, net asset value represents the value of an entity's assets less the value of its liabilities. It's essentially a measure of net worth. At the end of last year, that share was worth about 106. That means each share lost a little over 166. That means each share lost a little over 106. That means each share lost a little over $12 in value in just 3 months. Ouch. Let's check out how they did in operations. Over the last 3 months, they actually took a loss with a net loss of around $1.7 million. Last year during this time, they were cruising with a sweet 7.9 million swing from gain to loss and drew a 9 million swing from gain to loss. Expenses wise, management fees came out to about $20,385, which is less than the $42,381 from last year. Even though it's a small expense, it's coming out of a smaller pie. That means every penny counts even more. When we zoom out and look at the big picture, the net assets decreased by that same $1.7 million. Compare that to last year, where their net assets increased by almost $9 million. It's a complete flip. The total expense ratio net sits at 0.56%. This ratio measures a fund's total expenses as a percentage of its assets is at 0.56%, which is significantly less than last year. And that's why your ending NEF per share decreased from $106 to $93. Those are not the results an investor would be happy with. One thing you might notice, or rather not notice, is any record of new shares issued or old shares redeemed. Last year they had action in that category, but this year, nothing. And with all that lost revenue, you would expect shareholders to redeem shares in the company. Something is not adding up, or perhaps it indicates the investors are holding on. Let's switch gears a bit. One major update is the renaming of the fund to Hashdex Bitcoin ETF. This happened because they changed their strategy. Instead of just investing in Bitcoin futures, they can now hold Bitcoin directly. It's like going from betting on the weather to owning a piece of land. This move, effective March 27, aims to have at least 95% of the fund's assets in actual Bitcoin. Now let's cover some of the fine prints. The filing goes into a bit of accounting jargon that needs to be clarified. First, the use of estimates. Since some of the numbers here are projections and assumptions about the future, the actual results may vary, and also there is always the risk someone could sue them, even if they try to follow all rules, but they expect to be fine. Also, all the money is managed and overseen, nothing out of the ordinary. Here's something important, how they value their assets. They break it down into 3 levels, from level 1, which is a straightforward market price, to level 3, which involves a lot more guessing. The good news here is most of their assets fall into level 2, which is pretty solid. It is also worth noting that the fund uses derivative contracts like futures. When things go wrong, this could lead to a bigger loss. They also need to watch out that whoever they're trading with can actually hold up their end of the deal. It is worth going through some details about a transaction that happened in January. The company acquired a Bitcoin ETF from another company, Tucrium, in a deal that increased the assets by about $2.7 million and shares by about 50,000. Under segment reporting, the company reported that the single business unit, being just Bitcoin, doesn't require much clarification. Management is always responsible for evaluating risks and controls, so they certified that nothing has significantly changed since last quarter. Finally, they tell us they're not currently tangled up in any major lawsuits, which is always good news for investors. And Tidal, so let's step back and try to see what's up with Tidal, Commodities, Trust I. The switch to holding actual Bitcoin is a big move, potentially attracting more traditional investors who are tired of Bitcoin. The performance numbers are not good. Losing money is never good, and doing worse than previous years is also not good. This report is also from the first quarter of the year, so we will have to see how things look down the line. The other thing to note is the share redemptions, which didn't happen, indicating the trust may have underlying interest despite the losers. Alright, that's our breakdown of Tidal, Commodities, Trust I's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.